Installing the Sterling Finesse Peak Pivot Shower Door. This animation is intended as a supplement. Refer to the installation and care instructions packed with your product for important safety information, required tools, and detailed installation instructions. Warning: risk of serious injury. Damage prior to installation can result in glass shattering. Inspect the glass and all parts for damage before installation. After installation, regularly inspect the glass and all parts for damaged, missing, or loose parts. Proper fit and function of shower doors is dependent on accurate measurements. Measure all components carefully before cutting. This door is designed to accommodate walls that are up to 3/8 inch out of plumb. This door can be installed to open to the left or to the right. Kohler Company recommends installing the door with the pivot side opposite the shower head for best results. 2 people should perform this installation. Cover the drain with tape to avoid the loss of small parts. Measure the distance between the walls along the shower ledge. Mark this distance on the threshold. Then make a second mark 1/16 inch to the inside of the first mark. Cut the threshold at the second mark and file any rough edges. Position the threshold on the ledge so the tall side is facing out, and the threshold is 1/4 inch from the front edge of the shower ledge along its entire length. The threshold must sit flat against the shower ledge and walls. If needed, use a coin to match and transfer the corner radius of the shower to the threshold. Trim and file the threshold. Confirm that the threshold is still 1/4 inch from the front of the ledge. Then tape the threshold in place. Position the wall jambs on the threshold, flush with the threshold lip and the wall, with the round holes facing inside the shower. Ensure that the wall jambs are plumb at the top, middle, and bottom. Tape the wall jambs in place. Confirm that the wall jambs are still plumb. Then use a pencil to mark the position of the wall jambs. Make a mark at the 4 slotted holes in each wall jamb, then remove the wall jambs. Drill a 5/16 inch hole in the center of each mark. If drilling into tile, use the appropriate drill bit to avoid damaging the finished wall. Install the provided wall anchors. Before proceeding, clean up any debris. Align the wall jambs with the marks you made earlier, then secure the jambs to the wall using the provided screws. Using the provided hex wrench, install 2 latches to the strike jamb with the provided screws. Slide the bulb seal strip completely into the T-slot of the strike jamb. Starting at the bottom, fit the strike jamb into the wall jamb. The strike jamb should be completely seated on the threshold and within the wall jamb. Place the setting block on the threshold flush against the strike jamb. The bushing sleeve and pivot pin need to be installed to the bottom of the door panel. Before installing the sleeve and pin, confirm that your door is oriented correctly. The orientation shown is for a left pivot installation. Press the pivot pin into the bottom of the hinge bracket. If needed, lubricate the panel bracket with soapy water to ease installation of the bushing sleeve. Slightly spread the bushing sleeve and slide it over the pivot pin and onto the circular portion of the hinge bracket. Slide the bushing sleeve to the top of the hinge bracket. Make sure that the bushing sleeve does not cover the pivot pin. If needed, Lubricate the bushing sleeve with soapy water to ease installation of the pivot jamb. Slide the pivot jamb onto the hinge bracket. Note that the bottom of the pivot jamb should be flush with the pivot pin, and there should be a gap between the bottom of the pivot jamb and the bottom of the hinge bracket. With assistance, angle the pivot jamb and panel into the pivot side wall jamb, top first. Ensure that the pivot jamb is fully seated within the wall jamb, and the end of the door panel is resting on the setting block. The following steps are best performed with two people, one person inside the shower and one person outside the shower. Make sure all tools and materials needed to secure the pivot jamb are available for the person inside the shower to use. When properly adjusted, there should be a uniform gap of less than 1/4 inch between the edge of the door panel and the strike jamb surface. Start by moving the strike jamb outward toward the door panel. Maximum adjustment of the strike jamb is reached when the indicator line is visible from inside the shower. If the maximum adjustment has been reached and the edge of the door panel is still more than 1/4 inch from the strike jamb surface, move the door panel and pivot jamb outward toward the strike jamb. Confirm that there is a uniform gap of less than 1/4 inch between the edge of the door panel and the strike jamb surface along the entire length of the door. Confirm that the pivot and strike jamb are both resting on the threshold. From inside the shower, drill 9/64 inch pilot holes into the pivot jamb through the holes in the wall jamb. Secure the pivot jamb with the provided screws. Remove the setting block. Confirm that the door closes as desired. Adjust the strike jamb as needed. From inside the shower, drill 9/64 inch pilot holes into the strike jamb through the holes in the wall jamb. Secure the strike jamb with the provided screws. Insert a bushing into each of the 4 handle stems. Insert 2 screws through the holes in the inside handle. Then slide a handle stem over each screw with the bushings opposite the handle. On the inside of the door panel, insert both screws through the glass. Slide the remaining 2 handle stems over the screws with the bushings against the glass. Align the second handle with the screws. Then use the provided hex wrench to securely tighten both screws. Do not over-tighten. If the bottom seal looks misshapen when taken out of the packaging, immerse the seal in warm water until it regains its proper shape. Measure the distance on the door panel between the hinge bracket and the strike jamb. Mark this distance on the bottom seal. Then cut the bottom seal at this mark. Starting at the hinge side of the door, install the seal to the bottom edge of the inside of the glass panel. The seal should not interfere with the bulb seal. Cut 1 1/4 inch from the leftover seal and install it to the bottom edge of the inside of the hinge bracket. Install covers over the exposed wall jamb screws. Remove the tape from the threshold, wash away any visible marks, and clean up any debris. Apply 100% silicone sealant along the outside of the wall jambs and along the outside edge of the threshold. Allow the sealant to cure according to the manufacturer's instructions before using the shower.